Let's carry on with the same console session that we had in the previous lesson. So you may remember I have things like score, which is 0. Incidentally, you may have noticed here that I did not have to say print score, which I can still do. Even if I type, if I just type score, I still see the output. This wasn't the case. You may remember we've tried this before. When, for example, here I had fred.x score, without the print, the line works, but it doesn't show me anything. It doesn't output anything. Let me put a comment again. In the interactive environment, because it's interactive, whenever you type the name of a variable, for example, score, or whenever you have an expression that gives us a value, we don't have to say print. The environment assumes we want to see it, so it shows us the value straight away. So that's one, there are a few differences between how we interact in the REPL, the console, to how we do in a script. That's one of them. So score is an integer. Now, I want the computer to make a decision. For example, I want to say if the score is 5, say well done. And if it isn't, do nothing for now. So what I could do is I could say if score, and we've seen, just like I've done there, I would have to say if score equals 5, print well done. Again, one other difference in the console, in order to show that I've stopped this block of code, I need to hit enter on a blank line. That's how my interactive environment knows I don't want to add more lines to my if. And you can see there, it didn't print 5 because score is 0. However, if I had said if score equals 0, now it says well done. Why equals? Let's have a look. So if I say score equals, let's go for 10 this time. This is what we call an assignment of data. So I'm taking the value on the right hand side, in this case is the integer 10, and I'm assigning it to the name score. So from now on, if score didn't exist, it does now, or if it existed already, it's now going to be overwritten, because now I'm saying score equals 10, and I cannot have two things named score. So the old score is gone. Now score is 10. What happens if I say score equals 10? This is a very different line of code in Python, because now I'm asking Python a question. The question is, are the two things on either side of your equals, do they have the same value? If the answer is yes, it's going to give me true. If I ask score equals 20, is score equal to 20? The answer is false. So equals is what we call an operator. It's a type of operator that gives us back either true or false. And this is great because I can use it in a context where Python is expecting something which it understands as true or false. Where have we seen this? One example was, let me make this smaller, after if. When I introduced the if statement, I said if, just like while, if needs to be followed by something that Python understands as true or false. What do I have here? I have two expressions, fred.x score parentheses on one side and 100 on the other side, connected by an equals. And we've just seen that something equals something will give us true or false, depending on whether that something is true or false. And that's how Python decides whether to execute that line of code, to run that line of code or not. There are other similar operators that do this. For example, if I say, a reminder, score at the moment is 10. So if I say, for example, 5 is greater than score. This may seem strange, right? Because score is 10. 5 is not greater than 10, but I'm asking Python the question. Is 5 greater than whatever score is at the moment? And score is 10. No, it says false. But how about is 20 greater than score? Yes, score is 10, so 20 is greater than score. So greater than, and you can imagine there's the less than as well, which does exactly the same thing, is another of these operators which checks, in this case, whether one thing is greater than another, And the answer is always going to be either true or false. So these operators equals greater than return a Boolean data type. You may remember a Boolean is, there we go. A Boolean is something like is sunny, something which can only be true or false. It's a special type of data that can only have 2 values. Let's finish off with a reminder that score is 10. What if I say 10 greater than score? We get a false, because 10 is not greater than score, it's equal to score. So we have another operator. If I want to check whether 10 is greater than or equal to score, that's how I would do it. 10 is greater than or equal to score. In this case, that is true. But if I say 9, 9 is not greater than or equal to score. There are more of these operators, but rather than trying to go through a whole list of all these operators that give us back true or false, we'll introduce them as and when we need them. So now we're ready to go back to Fred and Mary to figure out how we're going to make the while loop stop when Fred reaches that point, instead of printing out Fred has reached the end.